Hey, beautiful. Yeah, you. How are all the beautiful brave hearts around the world? I'm Dr. Daryl Wolf, and I'm in Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo, Mexico. And today we are talking about Doc Talk Live Q&A with no one else but me. Okay, all right. So what I'd like to see from you, I'll take these off. But I wear these are Tesla glasses because the blue light, after 15 minutes on blue light, whether you're on a phone or a computer or TV, or you go to the movies, or you have LED lighting in your house, you're actually causing inflammation in the brain cells of the human body, and you're also causing EMF frequencies, okay, blue light frequencies in your bloodstream. That's actually true, okay? You can neutralize those, and I will be doing an EMF blue light one a day tomorrow, talking about the things that will help to neutralize how they're actually poisoning us. Just before we go into Doc Talk Live today, just know this. Apple could have built a computer, Microsoft could have built a computer that actually was giving off healing frequencies and healing light. Did you get that? Whether you believe it or not, you know how they show the apple on Apple and the biting the apple? Well, that's because they're just trying to let us all know that we're sinners. You didn't know that, did you? Most people are very oblivious to things. I'm going to be actually doing what's called the Eternal Now. It's a chapter that I'm going to be, it's an article that I'm going to be writing. And I'm going to be uncovering things without stepping on the toes of those people that are highly religious. I'm going to do my best. Those people that are highly political and they love politics, those people that actually believe that their belief systems are actually working for them, I will do my best to maneuver through there, but I'm writing the Eternal Now. It'll be finished in about 3 to 4 weeks. And those people that are really awake will understand this and go, oh my gosh, he's put the pieces together for us. That's amazing. Oh, wow. Wouldn't you like to know how the game is played? Well, the reality is this. The light that's shining in my eyes right now, the TV back here, the computer sitting here, the phone I use, okay, they all give off blue light, okay? And the reality is blue light is light that is 12 noon. And you're supposed to have blue light, 12 noon light for only a few minutes. You do get that, right? So after 15 minutes, of 12 noon light, okay, you're actually throwing your rhythm right out of balance, your frequencies right out of balance. And guess what? Whether you believe this or not, 10,000 teenagers a day are being diagnosed with cataracts. Thank you very much. Okay? And whether you believe it or not, blue light adds to every autoimmune disease going. Okay? And guess what? They've been feeding off of us since the beginning of time. Where, we're just cattle to them, but I'm not cattle, okay? There's no way that I can totally escape this slave planet, okay? But, I can rise to my greatness. I can feed my spirit and heal my body. And someday maybe I could even vibrate high enough to blow off of this planet, okay? I'm not saying I'm going to, but listen, I'm going to give it a good shot, okay? Because I believe that the universe is my playground and I shouldn't be isolated to just being here. We are spirit beings, but most of us are so limited in our beliefs, whether it's religion or it's what you learned from school, you learned from your parents or the peers or the TV or the radio or the newspaper. I mean, most people are so limited in their beliefs, and that's the way it's going to remain. If you want to be part of the majority, you're going to think like the majority, you're going to eat like the majority, you're going to drink like the majority. Just know this, that I'm live right now on X, which used to be called Twitter, Rumble, Facebook, Telegram on Doc of Detox, and YouTube. We're on 5 different platforms. If you've got questions, please let me know what they are. But here's the deal, okay? Talk to anybody in your family, and even a medical doctor. They might know where the organs are, but a medical doctor doesn't understand health. And understand something. Lay people understand true health more than a medical doctor does. I'm not putting them down. I'm trying to tell you that a medical doctor knows drugs inside and out. I can't keep up with them. New drugs come out every day. They can't keep up with them either. They just got to be able to read the reports that come in and then go by the script. Okay, so your GP, he's got to know his drugs. Your surgeon, well, he's got to know how to cut into somebody and relieve them of parts and then put implants into them of some sort, whether it's screws, plates, bolts, rods, mesh, or, an implant of somebody else's lungs or heart or whatever the case may be. But are they actually in the health game? No, they're not. They're not in the health game. They're in the emergency care game. And then you take a look at, and we need to talk about this. Really, is there anybody in your family that would actually know what's in this? Okay, this is called Perfect Day Guide. And I want to challenge anybody who reads this, whether you're a practitioner or whether you're a medical doctor, and tell me that you have the information that's in this guide. And then you're going to tell me it's not worth it? Well, first of all, it's free, so why don't you go in there and read it? And then any natural health practitioner or any surgeon or any physician is allowed to come on and then challenge me on this. But understand something, this Perfect Day Guide, everybody around the world can download it, just so everybody knows that in the last 7 days, we've had almost 10,000 people download this for free. My deal is I'd like to see this go to at least 10 million people for free. And then those 10 million people are going to make sure that they pass it on to other people. And it's going to remain for free if you want to get it digital, if you want to get the digital copy, right? Okay, so go to pdgfree.com and then go and read this and tell me if 1 and 1 are 2 or 1 and 1 are 11. It's very important that everybody understands something. You have been programmed. And do you know how many people, why don't you do this? Why don't you ask your friends? Why don't you ask your family? And ask them if they believe that they're healthy. And I'm going to tell you that right now we're looking at 92%, 90 to 92% on average of the population has an autoimmune disease. How many people know that only 2% of the population had an autoimmune disease in 1900? How many people know that in 1900 they ate 100 times less sugar than we do? Where they didn't have blue light, they didn't have all of the 5G, the 4G, the 3G. They didn't have the GMOs, okay? They didn't have glyphosate, which is called Roundup. And does anybody know why it's called Roundup? Why is it called Roundup? Because they're rounding us up, okay? They're rounding us up. That's what glyphosate does. And if you know about glyphosate, you would know that, remember your next door neighbor who he was into health too? And he had these two things that looked like he was a two-gun kid, and then he had the bottle on the back, okay, and that was Roundup, and he was squirting and killing all the weeds, and they still do that. How many people know that more glyphosate is sprayed in your front yard and backyard of homes around the world than they use in the farming industry? Did you get that? Really? Did you also know that those dandelions are one of the healthiest things that you can consume? So the reality is that, wow, I want you to think about human potential. If you got rid of the blue light 5G toxicity, if you got rid of chemical poisoning in the water, in the air, and in the food, if actually we could eat real food instead of fake food, okay? But the reality is it's very difficult, isn't it? Because you could travel for 1 mile and actually see, and honestly, anywhere from 5 to 10 drive-thrus. Okay? Now, you have to travel 10 miles and maybe even 20 miles to actually find a health food store. Well, guess what? It's getting even harder, isn't it? It's not getting easier, it's getting harder. So I'm not telling you to move to Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo, Mexico, but that's why I did it. I came down here for a first-class life. This isn't a third world country. This is a first-class life. And the reality is I want to know that I can always get organic food without paying organic prices. I want to know that there's no chemtrails in my skies, which there isn't here. I want to know that they're never going to have 5G. And guess what? They have no inclination to put 5G down here. It's 4G. I can tell you why, I know. Because I broke my phone, then I had to go to Morelia, which is about 4 hours away, get my phone fixed, and so they had to repair it, and they were going to give me a new phone, and they said, but guess what? We can't give you a 5G phone because we're not going to be bringing 5G into Mexico, so you'll have to get a 4G phone. And I said, well, okay, I'll take a 4G phone. That's fine with me. I don't want a 5G phone anyways because I don't need it. I don't need that 1 second extra download or upload. That's all you're getting. You're only getting a few seconds. So do you really know what health is? You think you know what health is, and then you look at the majority of the population which has an autoimmune disease. Well, I just told you that it's around 90 to 92% of the population has 1, 2, 3, 4 autoimmune diseases. And the reality is this, are we actually up? Because I haven't seen any questions come in. There's no questions coming in. Are we actually up? And can questions come in? Maybe everybody's out shopping. Okay, so the reality is that when you take a look at your health, you're comparing it to the majority of the population that has a walking illness. I want you to know something. I hardly knew of anyone when I was younger that had adult onset diabetes. How many people know here that 8-year-olds and 12-year-olds are getting adult onset diabetes right now? Okay, all right. How many people know that it was actually a study done and they said that most 12-year-olds are not going to live, okay, past their parents? So what I'm trying to say is that when you compare your health to the majority of the population, you're making a really big mistake. And understand something. The whole medical system go on stats. You know, like when you go to the doctor and they go, yes, Mr. Jones, you're doing really good for your age. Yeah, compared to what? Compared to what? I mean, if I were to compare myself to the average 67-year-old, that would not be a great thing. Well, I could, but then I'd be feeling real good about myself. But the reality is the health that I have is the health that every 67-year-old should have. Because it's obtainable. The reality is that the majority of people that are around my age, they're limping. They're walking like a duck. Okay, they're limping. They've got indigestion. They can't sleep well. They get headaches. They don't have energy anymore. The energy's gone because the human body is a battery. Am I actually on? Please, thank you. Thanks, Carla. So okay, let me just say this. Can I keep up with the 20-year-olds, the 30-year-olds that work with me? No. I can more than keep up. They can't keep up with me. They can't keep up with me. Because for you to be able to become more, all you have to do is change your belief systems. Now, they are your belief systems, but they're not. The majority of your belief systems were given to you by the majority of the population. Oh my God, no, please don't tell me that. Okay? And the reality is you're okay with those belief systems because the majority of the population has them. If you're not willing to become different, I mean different, okay? All right? The zebra, right? With the stripes. Then you're not going to have a different life. So when I say that when we can't compare ourselves to the health of people, you do know that every 5 to 10 years, the medical system actually downgrades what a healthy 60-year-old would be, or a 50-year-old be, or even a 10-year-old would be. You know what they do? They change it to the average of the population right then and there. Do your own homework and why don't you check it out? So you need to understand something. This planet harvests humans. We're enslaved by money. We're enslaved by healthcare. Yes or no? We're enslaved by a government that never follows through. But But the ridiculous thing is that people are ridiculous. They actually think the medical system is broken, and it's not. It's working exactly the way it was built. Drugs and surgery, okay? Fear tactics, yes or no, okay? People actually think that, you know, picking a side, whether it's government or there's a war going on, they actually think they're doing their part. There are no sides. This is just all for your entertainment. Entertainment. That's all it's for. So who do you hate? Okay? And guess what? I can talk to almost anybody. And I talk to a lot of people because I give my phone number out. Right? And people call me and I call them back. That's it. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I work for every brother and sister on this planet to the best of my ability. Okay? But understand this, okay? You are so much more. Unless you're willing to change a prominent, dominant belief that has a chokehold on you, and that you believe that this is as good as it gets, your life is as good as it gets. It's not going to get any better. Well, is the other one not working? Huh? No? That one's not working. Okay, that's all. Just no. Okay, thank you. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay. All right. So I will stay on here if questions come in today, because this is what it actually is. This is Doc Talk Tuesdays. And if I get questions, I will answer them. I didn't really pick a topic. I just come on here and I just want to stir it up a little bit and then see if people have questions, and then I will answer them. If not, then I will go, because I'm building a huge studio right now, a huge platform called Braveheart Nation app, okay? And also, we have what we call Ixtapa Zihuatanejo Health and Healing Retreat here. So there's always so much for me to do. So I want to go where I'm mostly needed. Maybe today, like I said, it's Tuesday, everybody's gone shopping, okay? But what I want you to, okay, here we go. Doc, how can I heal my lungs naturally? Okay. Hi, Dimple. So how can you heal your lungs naturally? Okay, let me just take a look here. Let me grab what I need. Clapper. Carla, will you grab me the Infinite Iodine, the Bright Eyes and the Silver, and the nebulizer? The nebulizer's down there, love. Okay? All right. Yeah. Okay. And can you do me a favor? Yeah, please put some in there. Infinite Iodine. I can talk about the Bright Eyes if you don't have them. And the Silver. Okay, Rafa, can you come here, my friend, and grab me the silver bottle? I mean, I guess I could get up and get it myself, but the silver, right in the corner there, my friend. Okay, all right. And then the Bright Eyes, do you see it back here? Right there, that one. Thank you. Okay, all right, okay. I have a beautiful video crew, and that's Rafa and Carla, and seeing that I don't speak Spanish, and maybe someday I will, but, and they're doing a really great job, okay? All right, here we go. Okay, so let's first understand something. When are you coming back to Florida to speak? I would love to see you again. I will be in Florida. Go to braveheartnation.com, but I'll be in Florida on June, I think it's, can you grab me a phone, please? I'll be in Florida on June the 5th, I think. And I'm doing a whole life coach certification. Then Dr. Sage Wolf will be doing a Wolf non-surgical certification. The whole life coach is 9 days with that 1 day off in the middle. And then he does the Wolf non-surgical certification, which is 12 days with 1 day off in the middle. And then we have a day off, and then we have a 3-day masterclass with Lorraine and Simran, and they teach that for women for pelvic restoration. And it's and let me just take a look here. If I go to braveheartnation.com, 1 second. I have it up here on the slide, but if you go there, everybody, if you go to braveheartnation.com, okay, it's not even showing up. I'm not on the internet here. Okay, good enough. Anyways, I'll show it to you at the end. I have the schedule. So I'll go through my schedule at the end. Let's get focused, Daryl. Okay, first of all, let me talk about lung problems. So that's what we'll do. I'll answer any questions here, but I'm going to go thorough on the lung situation, okay? All right? And I'm going to tell you something right now. Your lungs are only as healthy as your bowels. Your lungs are only as healthy as your bowels. Now, if you were a smoker, that's different. You are doing direct attack on your lungs. Most lung problems, let me explain where they come from. Okay. Here it is. Whether you believe this or not, I believe that 95% of all messages from the body, you call them symptoms, I call them messages of love and care, whether it's pain, stiffness, inflammation, or swelling. These are all messages of love that you're out of alignment, you're out of control. You're out of control, you are not loving your 50 trillion cells, your 500 trillion bacteria, and you don't know how to do it, and it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. I want to ask you a question. If you weren't a smoker, or you didn't breathe in some heavy-duty toxin, or you weren't living in black mold, why are your lungs bad? Why are they? You know, you couldn't have a lung problem unless you were pooping in your pelvis. What I'm trying to tell you is, we have to take this right back. If you want beautiful lungs, then you've got to have a beautiful bowel. If you want beautiful lungs, you have to have a beautiful bowel. And I know what I'm talking about. You know what? You can believe this or not, but we have people coming to us all the time, stage 3 and 4 inflammation. And they call it, the medical system calls it cancer. And it takes usually 2 to 6 months for a reversal when people take massive personal action. I said a reversal, not a cure. There is no cures. Cures only last, okay, as long as you're going to do what actually helped to get rid of the problem. So let's talk about the worst problem, and then I'll backtrack back to the bowel, and I'll show you the domino effect of how we get to the lungs. This will take 45 minutes, and we're just going to do the lungs today. I will answer a couple of questions here later, because the lungs is a big problem. How many people know that the elderly are dying from passing on from lung problems more than anything else? I said the elderly. There's still the main leading cause of leaving this planet is actually heart disease. And that's because heart disease is an emotional disease. It's not a physical disease. I can give you people that don't eat right, that eat crap, but they love themselves enough, because the heart doesn't get cancer. The heart gets heart disease because my heart is broken, my heart hurts, my heart is empty. And we'll talk about that another time. I'll go through and prove to you that I'm absolutely right. That you can get somebody who eats crap and they don't have heart disease. You can get somebody who doesn't eat right, or they even eat really good, but guess what? Their heart is injured all the time. They're very sensitive. Okay, they're always in relationships where they want the relationship to fill up their heart and the other person's responsible, whether it's the children, the husband, the wife, or the dog, or whatever the case may be. We'll leave that one alone, but we'll come back to it because it's a biggie. But let's talk about it. What's asthma? What's COPD? Okay? What's lung cancer? They're all based on inflammation. And before the inflammation, you'd have to have infection. So get it. Infection, inflammation. What comes after that, guys? Mucus. Mucus production. If you're going to have infection, which creates inflammation, where's the inflammation? It's on the lining. It's on the lining of the tissue, whether it's in your digestive tract or it's inside your lungs. It's the lining. So what is your body going to do? Well, if you can't wake up to the fact that somehow you're infecting your lungs, maybe on an emotional and physical level, because when people have a lung problem, it's usually because somebody's sitting on their lungs and they don't have the ability to breathe. Somebody is smothering them. You understand? Or they're full of fear, because what does somebody do when they're full of fear but hide under the bush and very shallow breathing? So fear can create shallow breathing, and if you're not using the lungs, which are a muscle, they are a pump. The heart is not a pump. The lungs are a pump. And if you're not using them, then you'll lose muscle integrity in your lungs. But let's go back to it. Infection creates inflammation. Inflammation, you can't have inflammation or you're going to get ulceration. Then you're going to have bleeding in your lungs, because when you have an infection to inflammation, the infection is the bacteria that get caught in the lungs, and the bad bacteria eat away the lining. You don't need ulcerations and bleeding in your lungs. Then you're going to get all this water too. You'll get all this water retention to try to cool down the inflammation, because that's what water does, and try to dilute the infection. And when people have water on their lungs, that's not a good sign. But when they go and they drain all the water off the lungs, or they drain all the water out of the abdomen, guess what? The place is still on fire. You didn't bring down the inflammation. When I have people, I know I'm a little off track, but I'm not, because you get this. I'll have people calling me and go, Dr. Wolf, they had to take all this water off of my abdomen, or all this water off of my lungs. And I'm going, if you can, don't have them take it all. Have them take like 60% or something. But the reality is that you take all the water's there to try to cool it down, dilute the infection, and to stop the inflammation from spreading. Inflammation, inflame, that would be a fire. So the big problem here is if you get infected, you get inflamed, you're going to create a lot of mucus. And that mucus is going to go into the alveoli. And now you don't have any lung capacity, because if I've got mucus inside of these little pouches called alveoli, how's the oxygen going to get in there? How's it going to get transported to the rest of your body? So you know what? Did you ever have people go, they have a lung problem and they cough and nothing comes up? That's dehydration. They're dehydrated. The mucus that was created due to the high infection created inflammation, that's a warning signal that you're infected. Has to create the mucus to protect the lining so you don't have ulceration and bleeding. So now if you get too much mucus to try to protect you, it fills up the alveoli, and then you feel like you're choking in your own sputum. Then also, if you don't know about structured water and enhanced water, okay, because structured water removes EMF from the body. We'll talk about that another time. But it does more than that. It hydrates 1,000% better than any other water. And that's a structured water unit. And I'll show you one right here. This is going to take me the next 40 minutes to go through this. So this is a structured water unit, and it will actually hydrate 1,000% better than any other water, because it lowers the surface tension. Okay? And if you understand that, all water that you take into the body has to be digested. Yes, it's a food. So if it's not structured already naturally by being a fast-moving river, a waterfall, or rainwater, then you need to structure your water, whether it's filtered, whether it's Kangen, whether it's ozonated, whether it's reverse osmosis, whether it's distilled, whether it's tapped. They all have to be structured. And then you guess what? You save all this energy, and now you got super hydration, which is the nutrition going easier into the cells and the toxins coming out. And that's the God's truth. So, and when structured water comes into your body, okay, you have what's called the aquaporin channel in your cell, and there's a frequency that comes, everything is frequency. There's a frequency that comes off the aquaporin shell that aligns with the water droplet. A water droplet is 2,500 to 3,000 layers stacked on top of each other, and when the frequency, they connect, the water droplet stretches out like a choo-choo train, and the speed of light, it can go right into the cell. Okay, so we talked about that. Let me see here. Running out of room. Let's get back to it. Infection creates inflammation. Inflammation causes mucus production. We start drowning in our own pus, mucus. That's what it is. Whether it's a booger, whether it's mucus that's attached to your bowel movements, whether it's mucus coming out of your vagina, whether it's earwax, this is all what this is. This is different forms of infection, inflammation, and mucus generation. That's all it is. That's all it is. Grandpa didn't die because he couldn't get oxygen. Grandpa died because, or passed on. Grandpa passed on. I don't like that word died. He didn't die. His spirit lives forever, but he didn't die. He passed on, and he passed on because he drowned in his own mucus. And that's the truth. And he did that because nobody understands structured water, and they didn't understand that Grandpa should have been drinking at least 3 quarts to 4 quarts of structured water, okay, that was warm to hot, because when it comes to a booger, when it comes to catarrh, dried up mucus, you have to do warm to hot water to melt it. You got it? Just like how the flame will melt the wax, we'll just call the mucus inside our body wax, and we need to get it so it'll drip out. God, you could crack a rib. People who have dried mucus trying to get it out of their lungs, they will cough so much trying to get it out, it exhausts them. Nobody wakes up to this. Nobody wakes up to this. And COVID my butt, please. Okay? All right? And if you want to help your lungs, go into my do-it-yourself library, or my do-it-yourself guide, or Clapping for Life, Clapping for Health guide at docofdetoxlibrary.com, or just go to Doc of Detox, click on library, and go look at how to clap your lungs clear. Okay, I'm going to get back into that in a second, but that is really important. Okay, and I'm going to show you why. Now, so let's get this and make this really clear. So now I don't know what to do. I've never been trained about health, like I talked about at the very beginning of this. I don't know about health, okay? I don't know what I'm doing. Of course you don't know what you're doing. Your family doesn't know. Your doctor, your physician, your surgeon knows nothing about health. And then maybe you go to a natural health practitioner that plays inky-dinky health, and I do mean inky-dinky schnitzel health. And otherwise, you know what? They're dabbling around it. You don't dabble around somebody's life. You create what's called a perfect day from the moment they rise till they close their eyes. And that's why I tell everyone, why aren't you getting a consultation from one of my master consultants for $150? And then we'll build you a perfect day, send you the audio. And then you get free lifetime calling from us. And we will guide you as you grow, we grow together. And then you get my perfect day guide sent you. But you can download it yourself now if you want. But if you don't get a guide or a coach, how are you ever going to learn? You know what? I'm going to tell you something. 999 people out of 1,000 want to do this. Hi, Dr. Wolf. Really fast. I know you're busy. I need a Band-Aid, okay? Or I need a pill for the thrill. Please slow down. When you call, I'm not that busy. I'll take as much time as I need to. And if I am busy, I will call you back. And if I don't call you back within 2 hours, you call me back. But let's just slow it down. Let's not talk fast, and please don't ask me to give you a Band-Aid. Band-Aids don't work, okay? I will take 10 minutes with somebody. I will. And I don't need more than 10 minutes to convince you that Band-Aids and the pill for the thrill, it doesn't work. And that if you don't want to take the time because you don't love and care for yourself enough to strategize from the moment you open your eyes until you close your eyes at the end of the day, there's not much I can do for you. And you're only going to put Band-Aids on. And Band-Aids don't work. Thank you very much. I am the 1 out of 10,000 practitioners. I'm not telling you I'm special. I'm not telling you that I'm smart. I'm trying to tell you that if we're going to do this thing, why aren't we putting the power back into your hands, into your heart, and into your head? Okay, that you are the master of your own health, not someone else. Okay. Now, we've talked about the lungs so far, but guess what? You just keep it up. You keep it up. Now we got this hard old booger mucus in there. It's all dried up because you don't know the water to drink, you don't know how much water to drink, and you're still eating, guess what? I'm still eating a good diet compared to who? The girl that's offing themselves, and that would be somebody sitting at your kitchen table. Okay, well, I just don't eat as much as they do. I'm not as blown out as they are. I don't have as many symptoms as they do. Understand that. The whole thing is just been a cat and mouse game, and we're the mice, trust me. So now, let's talk about this. So if it keeps going, remember something, inflammation causes what? Mucus production, but it starts to create scarring. Little fibers of scarring in your lungs. Do you know what scar tissue is? It's dehydrated, low frequency, low light, fibrin, otherwise tissue. That means that the life is out of it. That doesn't mean it's dead, it doesn't mean it's rotting, but if you have a disease in your lungs, that means you have tissue rotting. Did you get that? So that means you actually have tissue rotting. You have a disease in your lungs where they've diagnosed you, and it's a chronic problem. Your lungs are rotting out. What do you think, I'm kidding? If you've got low oxygen, low nutrition, you've got high inflammation, lots of mucus, guess what? You're suffocating. If you're suffocating yourself, you're suffocating the cells, and guess what? They have to decompose. They're either going to mutate from the inflammation, because what is stage 4 inflammation but cancer? Because cancer is nothing more than inflammation. And people will say, well, no, it's a fungal problem. Well, no, it's not really. It's a parasite party when it becomes stage 4 inflammation, because it's so weak with the vibration and the light and the integrity that all the parasites come. The fungus, the bad bacteria, and the worms. And as far as viruses go, they don't come. Viruses are just chemical poisoning. Look it up if you don't believe me in a dictionary, what a virus is. Virus is Greek for poison. It's not Greek for jumping microorganisms. Okay, thank you. Now, you keep up this long enough and strong enough, now you start calcifying your lungs. Why? Why do I calcify my lungs? Oh, well, why don't you, if you don't believe me, why don't you go and do a check, okay? We do a bone density scan, okay, in Canada at our clinic in Kelowna, British Columbia, and in Mexico, we do free bone density scans for everybody. And understand something, wherever you have the so-called dis-ease, which just means you're not at ease, which means you're out of harmony, and you don't know how to care for yourself, that's all. You're out of alignment. That's all that means. It doesn't mean anything else, because there are no diseases. I will never have a disease, and understand something. Now you think I'm cocky? No. I just know what to do, okay? I was schooled, ruled, and fooled, and no longer that's happening. And understand, you have diseases in your family, and you might even have a disease yourself because you believe in that belief. Yeah, but you never really thought about, should I believe in it or not? You just took it for granted because the majority of the population has a disease. So if you're infected and inflamed long enough and strong enough, you're pulling calcium from your sternum and your ribs, and even your trachea, into your lungs. And then that calcium, it actually is going to go into your lungs. And the reason why it goes in there is because that is the last main defense. When a woman has calcium deposits in her breast, that is the last step before stage 4 inflammation, which they call cancer. Now, I'm not saying she's going to get it. I'm just saying that that's a real indication that it could be around the corner. A person with gallstones, we already know that they're precancerous. A person with kidney stones, we know that they're precancerous. You get anybody with arthritis that's really chronic and bad, we know that arthritis is scar tissue and calcification of the joints and the tissues. We know that that's precancerous. We know that somebody that has toe fungus, that's precancerous because they have fungus throughout their whole body if it's in their toe. And that's systemic. And we know that if you've got that, that means that you've got pinholes in your large intestine, and that's what you call autoimmune disease, and you got those from the antibiotics and all the inflammatory foods, and now you've got a screen door for a large intestine, and now you're pooping in your pelvis, and that creates the infection. We fill up with infection from the bottom up. From the bottom up. And if you've got a lung problem and you weren't a smoker or a heavy-duty toker or you weren't poisoned by something, then guess what? You've got a bowel problem, and then you're going to tell me you don't. And I'm going to tell you right now that 99 out of 100 people have parasites, and they always will. Why? Because they do parasite cleanses or they don't. And even if you do a parasite cleanse, they're going to come back because it's the integrity of the tissue that decides what lives there. Go and read my Parasite Party. So any place where you have a lung diagnosis of a disease, there are the whole parasite party living there. Fungus, bad bacteria, and worms. Thank you very much. So go ahead and detoxify them. They're just coming back if the tissue stays low integrity. So we focus on not trying to drive the parasites out, but by bringing the vibration up and the integrity of the tissue, and guess what? They all leave. They pack up and they leave. They get their eviction notice. So I hope you're getting a good sense of what we're doing here. And guess what? All of this can be reversed. All of this can be reversed. So it doesn't matter what your condition. There's no such thing as COPD. Thank you very much. Asthma. Oh, well, I get allergies. Okay, I got asthma. I've got allergies. Okay. Asthma is anxiety and it's fear-based. Okay, just so you know that. And if you have a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, and that is going to make you more acidic. And what will happen is if there is something in the air that has to be like thrown off by your immune system, if your immune system is lower, then you call it an allergy. And guess what? All we do is all we got to do is bowel cleansing and liver cleansing, and there's no allergies. Isn't that something? In a lot of cases, there's no asthma either after that, because they are all the asthma and the allergies. The focal point is called the cecum, which is on the right-hand side, just above the hip. And that is the pouch where from your small intestine, the liquid waste is going into the large intestine. And then that cecum is saying it's in trouble, which is the first part. And that means you're backing up waste there with those two symptoms. How are we doing so far? Okay, so now, so we know that the lungs have an attachment to the lungs. I've made that really clear. So if somebody had a lung problem, I would put them basically on black gold. Do you mind just standing over here, Carla? And if I ask for something, you can hand it to me. We're going to have to bring this closer if I'm going to be able to grab it myself. Okay, black gold and the daily cleansing tea, I can grab those. But if you can just sit there, okay? All right, so here's black gold, here's daily cleansing tea. I will tell you again, for the $150, get a perfect day consult. Go to consultations on docofdetox.com. Who gives you a consult for $150 and then we'll give you lifetime support? Okay? I don't think anybody. All right? And anyways, this is black gold, which is a humic fulvic. And this is the best thing to build back mommy's good bacteria. It's the best thing to take the heavy metals out, the parasites, to drop off 70 micronutrients, mainly minerals, into the intestine to refurbish it. And daily cleansing tea works on all the detox organs, the lymph, the bowel, the kidneys, the lungs, the blood. Okay, are you with me? All right, and the lymph system. So you can do your own research on how to actually take it, or you can give us a call. We'll help you out. Okay, we don't mind doing Band-Aid support there, but trying to give somebody, Dr. Wolf, just give me 3 minutes and tell me how to cure myself. Well, really, you've come to the wrong place. Go to somebody else that's going to make you false promises. There's no such thing as a cure, and the only cure is called the perfect day. And if you had a perfect day where you knew how to love and care for yourself and you repeated it every day, you wouldn't need a cure because you are the cure. Okay, so there is no cure. All right, so we're not done yet. So now we need to make sure that we do that, but we also take a look at the Ultimate Coffee Enema, and you will actually find that. You'll find all the information in the Perfect Day Guide, everybody. Just look in the Perfect Day Guide, okay? Can you do that? That'd be great. Okay, now look for the Ultimate Coffee Enema. Now let's keep going. So take a look at the 4 pillars of the perfect day and look at what's a whole plant-based keto diet. I'm not telling you never to do animal products again. If you're doing dairy and you've got a lung problem, then you're taking a bullet to your head. I don't know, but did anybody ever notice when you have a cold or a flu, the doctor says, get off of dairy just until you get rid of your cold and flu? Does that sound like really good information? So wait a minute, doc. So if I got a cold or flu, I should get off the dairy, but when I not have a cold and flu, I should go back on the dairy? I mean, do you call that a health professional? Are you like, guys, do you even hear what people say? And then ask yourself, does this make any sense? Either something's good for you or it's not good for you. It's not in the middle of the road. There's no middle of the road here. All you're doing is you're talking to a programmed so-called health professional. There's no such thing as dairy being good for you. Okay? First of all, mother's molecule, breast milk, okay, is what? 20 times smaller. We also know that we cannot digest mammal milk after 7 to 10 days after we come off the breast. We also know that everybody is inflamed by doing dairy, whether it's cheese, whether it's milk, whether it's yogurt. It doesn't matter. Everybody is inflamed. You may not be feeling it, but that's the problem. It's a silent killer, and it is. There's so many alternatives out there. Coconut milk, coconut cream, okay? Organic almond milk, okay? What about oat milk, organic oat milk? And then really look at the ingredients. The less ingredients on the bottle, the better. And understand something. The reason why people love milk and they love cheese is it's the casein. Your brain gets addicted to it, and it's actually a poison for us. Thank you. And that's the truth. You can't process cows anything, byproducts enough and make it into health. Does it have anything in it that you can get good from? Yes. Is raw milk, cow's milk, better than pasteurized? Of course it is. All right? I get it. But the reality is that once we're off the breast, we're off the breast. I don't know anything that's on the breast forever. I mean, cow's milk, cows have what? 4 stomachs? We have 1. We just need logic here. That's all we need. And if not, you're addicted to it. You drink the milk, then you'll know. You feel snotty afterwards. Okay, but O types will not feel as snotty as the other blood types because they can digest animal protein better. Okay? All right. So we want to get rid of the inflammatory foods. I want you to take a look at a whole plant-based keto diet. Just try to get as close to that as you can. I do not believe in vegetarianism. I was a vegetarian many moons ago, many years ago. I tell you right now, that was, it's kind of scary. Like 35 years ago. And I gave that up when I was probably around 32, 30. It was enough of that. And I was iron deficient. And it was really my bowel. And I didn't know that. And I was taking extra iron. And then when I realized that I had to bring back the integrity of Mommy's Good Bacteria to actually get my iron levels back. But vegetarians are not healthy. No, I'm not saying not all of them, but the majority are not healthy. Whole plant-based eaters are healthy because it's all about vibration and light, okay? It's all in my book. It's all in my book. Or, go watch into my library. I have the biggest library in the world on self-care and self-love. More master classes free, even Braveheart Online Emotional Course, which is 33-day course. And it's the most amazing emotional course you can take. I believe it is, not the most. But I believe it's really, really up there. And go do it. It's free. It used to be $1,200. It's free to everybody. Okay? There's no time to be trying to sell things hard. We got to get them to people as quick as we can right now. Okay, let's get back to the lungs. Just remember, everything that's inflammatory has got to go. Sugar, dairy, flour products, processed foods. We're talking about real food here now, guys. We're talking about high vibration, light, and frequency. Go in and take a look. All right, so I've got a lung problem. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I have a lung problem. This will rock your socks. This is more powerful than any other lung rejuvenation that I know on this planet, and it's not expensive. You ready? Okay, so anywhere from 5 minutes either side, okay? 1 second. 5 minutes on either side, you're going to actually clap your lungs. Okay, you're gonna clap your sternum, and you're gonna clap your lung area. Okay, all right, and you're gonna clap. Now, if you clap, and you know you can start easy, but then go a little harder, and you can get this clapper at store.docofdetox.com. It's inexpensive, and you don't want to use your hand. You want to use the clapper. It's too hard on your shoulders, your neck, and it's not going to be the same response. Okay, and remember something. If you do here, this area, which you go to my library and go look at Clapping for Health, Clapping for Life, and go look at how to clear your lungs and heart. I did a video just on that. You're going to do this area first every day. Okay, 5 minutes on this side, 5 minutes on that side. You're probably going to go black and blue. And this is the infection, the inflammation coming to the surface. I'm serious. Yeah, you're actually drawing infection and inflammation and emotional infection and inflammation. That's right. From your lungs and from your heart. And guess what? Healthy people don't bruise. Dr. Wolf? Yes. Hi. You know what? I didn't bang into anything, and I woke up this morning with a bruise on my hip, or I woke up with a bruise on my arm, and I'm scared. Well, I don't want you to be scared, but I want you to know this, that you are highly contaminated. When you start bruising, that's like an overripe fruit. It's not healthy anymore, okay? All right? So what you need to do is really start taking a look at how you can actually bring in higher frequency, more light. You have to change your diet and your mindset, and you're going to have to detoxify your bowel and your liver right away. Okay, you got to get the cork. How do we drain a tub? We don't drain it by putting in a bucket and going like this from the top. We drain it by pulling the plug at the bottom and draining. So if you want to lighten the load on any area of the body, you've got to go into the bowel first and liver. I don't care what the condition is. It's going to affect it, whether it's in your toes or your nose. Okay? So, if a person bruises without banging into anything or doing anything, they're in really bad shape. Okay? They're in bad shape. That's it. So now, if I do this and I clap this area, it goes light purple. That's not bad. It goes dark purple. That's, that shows more infection on an emotional and physical level. If you don't understand that, read the book. It's all in there. Now, if it turns dark purple or black, you got trouble in your lungs and in your heart. Now, if you continually keep clapping both sides until they no longer discolor, then you've just done a lot of beautiful work. Now, so we're going to clap here and here, and we're going to clap here. Now, you give me somebody that can't get it up, trying to get that dried old mucus catarrh up. You got to get them to clap. And then what you got to do is you got to get them to do a castor oil pack. If you take a look at my Perfect Day Guide, it tells you how to do a castor oil pack. And believe it or not, if you do a castor oil pack, you can do a castor oil pack for an hour to 2 hours in the morning and at night if you've got a bad lung problem. And what we want to do is the castor oil pulls the toxins and poisons out. Let me tell you quickly how to do it. So you're going to get either flannel or wool. You're going to get it 3 layers thick, and you're going to make it just this area of the lungs. Then what you're going to do is you're going to soak that 3 layers down with castor oil. Then you're going to put that on here, then saran wrap, then a heating pad. You're going to leave it there for an hour or 2. You're going to do it every morning and every night. Okay? And before you do that, you're going to clap. Did you get that? You're going to clap. Are you with me? Now, if you were to do this routine, you're going to see miracles. Now, how much money did I take from you so far? How much money did I try to take from you? Think about it. Okay? It's just going to need your participation. Do you love yourself enough to participate in your own healing? Or do you want me to do it? Because if that's true, then it's not going to happen. All right? And if you've got a practitioner that says, leave it up to me, then guess what? You'll be leaving it up to him until there's nothing left of you. Because you need to be responsible. It's not your fault that you're sick, but you need to be responsible to get yourself well. because you're only sick because you have sick beliefs. And those sick beliefs were given to you by your parents, your peers, the government, the schooling that you got, and all the other systems out there that say that they have the answer. Okay? All right. So now we're going to do the castor oil pack. And when we're done with the castor oil pack, because see what you're doing is you're putting flannel on, 3 layers thick that's soaked with castor oil, organic raw castor oil. And then you're going to put saran wrap on, and then what are you going to do? You got the saran wrap because you don't want the heating pad to get oily. Then you put the heating pad on. Okay? So now I clap first, then I put the castor oil pack on. And and a lot of people, if you're so, I'm not going to say sick, because people aren't sick. I'm sick, I'm at home, I'm sick, I can't come to work. No, you're not sick, you're toxic. And you're toxic because of what you think, what you drink, and what you eat. That's it. Thank you. Okay? I had one of my staff call me yesterday morning. I didn't pick on her, but she said, and everybody does this part. Dr. Wolf, yeah, hi, whatever your name is. I can't come in today. Okay, so why not? So I'd rather they did this. Dr. Wolf or Daryl, I can't come in today. Okay, but they don't have to do the acting, because that's what we all do. We want to act like we're dying and we're sick and we just can't make it. And you know, I'm so sick I probably won't make it through the day, so of course I can't go through to work. And I said, that's fine, I get it, but just know this. You just can't come in today because of what you ate, drank this weekend. That's all. And I know it, and you know it, because you work with me. And the reality is I'm not going to punish you for it. When do you think you'll be back? Tomorrow? Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, see you tomorrow. Okay, so understand there's no sickness. There's you unknowingly poisoning yourself on an emotional and physical level. Let's make that perfectly clear. And understand, I know I piss a lot of people off because the majority of the population want to believe that it's not their responsibility, and it is. And I understand that it's not their fault, so there's no blame, there's no judgment here. But the reality is we're being screwed over. Okay, so now, here's the deal. So now we did the clapping, now we did the castor oil pack, right? Okay? Now remember something, if you are near someone that does Wolf Non-Surgical, and they were to go in here, and they did Wolf Non-Surgical in between your ribs and your lungs, I will guarantee you that you will have 30 to 60% more oxygen uptake right away. What, do you actually believe that you're going to infect, inflame, and then cause mucus and calcification in your lungs, and you're not going to create a tightening or a shrinkage because of dehydration from the inflammation? When we go in here, we will loosen up so that the lungs can start pumping again, because the heart's not a pump, but the lungs are a pump. Yes, they are. And so now, guess what? So now when we go in here, you are going to have 30 to 40% more breathing power. And understand, if you did get yourself a non-surgical, if you got yourself a structured water unit and you breathe through it, and you breathe through structured air, you're going to even breathe better, because structured air, just like structured water, goes into the lungs a lot easier without energy. Okay? That's a little side note. If you take a look in my Perfect Day Guide, you'll see all the things that the structured water unit is good for. Okay. All right. So now if you were to get Wolf Non-Surgical, you know what? They can tell you whatever they want to. If you get Wolf Non-Surgical, whatever condition you're in, it could be like chronic, debilitating, and you did Wolf Non-Surgical, and if you're highly chronic and debilitated and inflamed, we're going to go in gently and lovingly open up all the fibers. My gosh, seriously. Okay? And then if the person has a power pack where they actually have a Cellsonic, and they did Cellsonic on your lungs and a cardio med bed, you'd be there for 2 hours and your breathing capacity would be up by 40-50%. Why? Because a cardio med bed can return perfect circulation. It's the most powerful thing in the world. And Cellsonic is the most powerful energy medicine device. Go to bhnpowerpack.com and then go in and see the science, and then tell me that I'm off track. Or just go in here and you can read about it in the Perfect Day Guide. Okay, we're not done yet. We're not done. So listen to me. Now, if you were to call up somebody, they go, well, I have a lung formula and it's in a capsule form or it's in a liquid, you just have to drink it. Do you actually think that's going to do this? You actually think it's going to get you well? It might reduce the inflammation. It might even help you with some of the infection. But we're talking about total restoration and rejuvenation of your lungs. That's what we're after. I'm always going to tell you the truth. I'm going to say, this is how long I think it's going to take. If I was in your shoes, this is what I would do. And we're going to have to front load on the nutraceuticals. You follow this program. If you hit a bump in the road, call me. We're going to work together and we're going to get through this. And understand something. All you're doing is detoxifying, bringing down the inflammation, putting the calcium back into your ribs and your sternum, okay? Melting the mucus so it comes out of you. Wow, really? And if you have perfect circulation in your lungs, you've got perfect healing. So we're not done yet, okay? So the next thing that you can do, okay, and you can be doing this while you're laying there with your castor oil pack. You should be doing this while you're watching TV, because most people that have really bad lung problems, they're in bed because they can't walk that far, or they walk a little bit and then they sit and watch TV or something. I'm going to tell you something. I want you to pretend that you're an addicted vapor and you vape all day long and you can't get over vaping. Oh, I'm just an addicted vapor. I got to vape. So here's our vaping. Okay, let me show you. Second. Let's see if it's going to show it here on. So take a look. See what this is? It's called a nebulizer. Okay. Now this nebulizer is portable. You could have this in your car. I would tell you to go and get a nebulizer you plug in and get more of a heavy duty one for home. Okay. All right. Now this nebulizer, you just open this up, or you do the home one, and you can put a little bit of what we're going to talk about right now. Okay. Let me see here. So, this is called infinite iodine. Okay. This is the large bottle, and people go, wow, that's a lot of iodine. Well, the reality is that people that have stage 4 inflammation, we have them taking 1.5 ounces a day. Because guess what? Whether you want to believe this or not, when it comes to cancer, did you know a cancer cell cannot off itself and die unless it has an iodine ions within the cell? So we have patients that have stage 4 inflammation they call cancer, taking 1.5 ounces a day. You can't do that with Lugos. You can't do that with nascent iodine. You'd blow your thyroid out. You'd blow yourself out. You wouldn't do it with this. This is the only non-toxic iodine in the world. So this infinite iodine, you can spray it. And somebody healthy would do 5 to 20 sprays a day. I do 20 sprays a day. 5 is minimum. And everybody needs iodine every day, whether you're a baby, whether you're a teenager, whether you're an adult, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, doesn't matter. And if you're pregnant and you're not doing iodine, your child will have 20 to 30% lower mentality when it's born, if you're not doing iodine while you're pregnant. It's a true story. These are actual studies. This is real science, okay? So the infinite iodine can be put in your eyes to disinfect your eyes, can be put in your ears to disinfect your ears, it can be put in your vagina to disinfect your vagina. It always travels alone. Now let's get back to the lungs. So if you want to clear out your lungs, this is like silver bullet stuff, guys. You know, you can start off by doing 1 part infinite iodine to 3 parts distilled water, and it can be structured water. Are you with me? But I would like to see you just go straight iodine, straight infinite iodine. Okay? That's what I want you to go to. You can dilute it if you want, but I say get in there as soon as you can and do it straight. Now, if you take the infinite iodine, okay, let me see how many questions I have here because I have another appointment because I started late today. Oh, good. People are holding off on their questions. I really appreciate it today because I'm not going to get to them. But I will do another Q&A. What do I have tomorrow? So that means that What time do I come in? What time are those two at, please? Eastern Standard, please. Okay, so so tomorrow I'll do another Q&A at 1 o'clock Eastern time, and then we'll do a live at 2 o'clock Eastern. Okay, so I'm going to do another. I'll do about 45-minute doc talk again tomorrow. Okay, to try, because I know we're going to get some questions here. All right, good. We're good? Okay, where was I? Oh, yeah. So the infinite iodine. So what you want to do is you want to put infinite iodine in here. How much should you put in? Well, just put in a little bit. Just put in like a teaspoon. And then what you're going to do, but if you want to do like the 1/3, 1 part iodine, 3 parts distilled water, go right ahead. But that's starting weak, okay? And then go 1 part iodine to 2 parts water, distilled water, and then go straight iodine, please, as soon as you can. So when you do the straight iodine, I want you, whether you're in the car, if you're a passenger, or if you're at home, I want you, first time you do it, just hit the button and take a breath in. And if one little inhale makes you feel like you're going to cough, that means that you are very high in infection. You know, within days, you'll be doing it pure, and you'll be breathing it into this, and there's no toxicity to our iodine. You get that? So, but if you take like 1 breath or 2 breaths and you feel like you're going to cough, that's okay. Don't do any more. Let your lungs calm down. And believe it or not, if you're coughing and it won't stop, clap your lungs, because there's something caught. You understand? Where's that warm to hot structured water I asked you to drink? Where is it? Okay? All right, now, so you're going to do the infinite iodine. And let's say today I did the infinite iodine, all right? And I'm going to do it as much as I possibly can. I'm going to tell you something. Within 10 days to 2 weeks, you're going to be just going, oh my God, honey, this is amazing. Do you know what? I have people that have stage 4 inflammation, they call cancer, and they have no money. The last one was a vet, okay? All right? And he was a veteran, and he had no money. I said, then you've got to do the iodine, the bright eyes, and the silver bullet, and you've got to do that. Okay, well, you can believe it or not believe it. His wife put him on the whole plant-based keto diet, and it's not gone. But how about this? We've reduced it by 80%. His oncologist can't believe this, okay? He can't believe what's going on. And now it's been 4 months. Nothing happens overnight, and if it does, it's not real. So anyway, so you'll do the infinite iodine, and then what you'll do is you'll also take what we call our fulvic nano drops, which is the only fulvic drops you can put in your eyes. The only fulvic you can put in your eyes in the world, because it's nano and it's pure. We're the only ones that process humic fulvic without chemicals on the planet. I can say it because it's true. We got the purest product on the planet. And humic fulvic will balance hormones. It'll chelate the blood of heavy metals, parasites, chemicals, and drop off, like I said, 60 to 70 micronutrients into the cells. So now the fulvic reduces the acidity, the inflammation, and it drops off micronutrients, like I just said. So I'm going to take 50% bright eyes and 50% silver. And I want you to play with this. You can't hurt yourself with my product. And I want you to nebulize the next day with this. Then I want you to then only try the fulvic, and then only try the silver, and then come back to the iodine. And the iodine, infinite iodine, never gets mixed with anything else. I want you, if you're doing this, to understand, if you've got a bad lung problem, please call me. I want to help you. I don't want you to be short of breath. When you can't get your breath, you feel like you're going, it's very fearful. And I can help you with this. I'm serious. Now, we're not talking a lot of money here, guys, okay, for the silver, the iodine, and the fulvic nanodrops. And then you're going to order a portable nebulizer, and then you can go to like a pharmacy place that sells canes and walkers and wheelchairs. And just know this, when I was a kid, I only saw a couple of canes that I can remember. Now they're all over the place. Walkers are all over the place. Electric wheelchairs are all over the place. I feel like I'm going to get run over. The reality is that we're not getting better, we're getting worse. And until you decide that you want to take massive personal action, it's going to stay the same. Okay? I just gave you the most powerful thing you can do. And the other thing is you want to get what's called Lung Restore. It's an essential oil we have. And you want to be rubbing that on your chest as often as possible. And you also want to rub on your chest, which is called DMSO Rose Cream, if you're sensitive. And can you hand me those, please? DMSO Rose Cream and the gel. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to have to get a table and put all the products right here so I can just grab them. Okay? We'll create something else. Thank you. So there's the DMSO Rose Cream. This is more gentle, and this is deeper. So you try this. They're not expensive. This will last you for the duration of getting well. How's that? Okay? All right? And DMSO is made from pine trees. And when you rub the DMSO on, it goes deep into your tissues here, in between your ribs, and it'll get down into the lung area, and it increases your circulation, it melts crystallization, and it helps scar tissue to become more flexible. Okay? So remember something, all cells have muscle memory, and if muscle memory is the disease, then go in there and make self-care the new program, and self-love, and really show the area that is diseased because it's out of ease, it's out of alignment, that you truly love these cells. Somewhere on an emotional and physical level, you have disrespected your lungs, or your prostate, or your breasts, and I can prove it. If you don't believe me, go into my library, and this took me 2 years to write, and it's called The Emotional Chemistry of Cancer, Disease, and Healing. And then get ready for me to rock your socks off. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the only true cancer study that was ever done. And it proves that your thoughts are everything, okay? And that we have certain problems in certain areas of the body because of certain belief systems that we don't even know we're running. All right? Let's see here. What time is it? Okay, all right. I'm going to be wrapping up here because I have a meeting. Okay, what is causing constant vascular blockages? Stains, I think she means statins, are poison as far as the system. What's causing vascular blockages? I will tell you what's causing vascular blockages, and it's your bowel. That's where the root of it is. And a vascular blockage, you have to understand something. You know, it could be called arteriosclerosis. And what is that? Well, that's a problem of calcification and cholesterol. Because what is a gallstone? Calcification and cholesterol. And the reality is a lot of people have high cholesterol when they have blockages. And what causes these blockages? Well, the reality is this, your blood vascular system cannot drop in pH even slightly, or you'll go into a coma. If it dropped more than that, you wouldn't be here anymore. So what happens is it's always looking for proper pH balance. So you need to understand that. And to have that, it's going to pull calcium from the arterial walls, okay, of your, it's going to pull calcium from the arterial walls of the arteries. And to try to buffer down the blood's pH so that it's not acidic, so that it brings it back up to more alkaline and it stays there. And understand something. When that happens, you start getting these little cracks in your arterial walls, and then you make more cholesterol. And cholesterol is like candle wax to goop up the cracks, because if you get these little floating shards of microscopic pieces of calcium, they can actually get into the cracks that are a thinner part of the wall of the artery, a weak part, and it can actually cause a little cut, which causes a blood clot, and that is the main cause of heart attack and strokes. Did you get what I said? Nobody ever told you that, did they? Now, the blockages, okay, are actually the thickening that's going to happen, and that would be the scar tissue. Again, so we're back to scar tissue. We're back to cholesterol, which is the gooping of the candle wax, and the calcification that can actually build up inside the pipe called your artery because you're always acidic. And guess what? What about low oxygen levels? Okay, so when you have low oxygen levels in your blood platelets will stick together. It's called rugae, and they will clump together. And when your blood starts clumping together, then it's going to cause blockages as well. And then that causes like little dams throughout, and the blood can't flow the way it needs to be. And if you get stagnation, okay, then you're going to get more inflammation, you're going to get more infection. I hope I answered it. But you better clean out your bowels, and you better do with Daily Cleansing Tea Black Gold. Look at the Ultimate Coffee Enema. And then if you have blockages in, take a look at FibroClear, take a look at Curcumin Cayenne 5000, and take a look at the inflammatory foods that you're eating, and look at the way you're eating. You're probably swallowing chunks instead of drinking your solids and chewing your liquids. Drinking your solids means that you've chewed your food till it's the smallest particle. And the reality is this, that, let me ask you a question. How could you be infected anywhere unless your bowel was leaking? And your bowel is not a garbage can. Your bowel is a compost. And a compost can be only as healthy as what you throw into the compost, but what you put in your mouth. So let's take a look at what you're putting in your mouth that travels 30 feet. Well, not actually 30, 23 feet down to your large intestine. And then if you're putting garbage products in there, then guess what? Then you are rotting inside your bowel, and then you will end up getting pinholes in your bowel. And that's caused because of what? Well, do you know what that is? We have yeast in our large intestine. The yeast turns into fungus. That's mainly through high inflammatory diet, sugar, dairy, processed foods, chemicals, but mainly antibiotics. And then I don't take antibiotics, Dr. Wolf. Oh, yes, you do, if you do dairy products. Because understand, antibiotics are fed to all cows every day in their feed. Okay? And understand something. Antibiotics are fed to farm fish. Antibiotics are fed to every farmed animal. So remember that you're getting antibiotics in your cheese, in your yogurt, in your milk. Okay? All right? And you're getting antibiotics in your chicken, in your turkey, unless it's free range and organic. So you've been doing antibiotics every day, which means the antibiotics, they vibrate below zero. They take the yeast, turn them into fungus. The fungus becomes a drill bit predator, which was not supposed to come alive like it does when you do antibiotics. You know, when you do antibiotics, you've actually turned on what we call the death vibe. Because antibiotics vibrate below zero. They take the yeast, turn it into fungus. They're called drill bit predators, and they're supposed to be drilling holes in you when you've already passed on from your body. So, you know, dust to dust, right? So you're returning back to the earth. And the reality is that's what antibiotics do. If you take antibiotics or you eat antibiotic products, just know this. It's never going to go well for you. It's just not going to go well for you. And understand something. Antibiotics, yes, they've saved lives, and they've taken way more lives than they've saved. I guarantee you, for every life that they've saved, they've taken 100. Yeah, it's not good odds, is it? So what if we really went with the rule that we should only take antibiotics in a life-threatening situation, not when we have an earache, sinus infection, ear infection, or when we have any other infection? Well, you're actually going to take antibiotics for an ear infection? I mean, I just talked about the things that'll get rid of it. So guess what? If I had an ear infection, which they give children antibiotics, yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, if I had an ear infection and I give a child antibiotics before they've even built their large intestine, their digestive tract, and that goes in there, that like a bomb, and maybe it did destroy some bad bacteria in here, but it also harmed a lot of the good ones and changed the yeast into fungus. What did I just set the child up for? And do you actually think that you're going to take something that's going to travel with the child? It's going to have to travel 10 feet to 12 feet. And then when it gets down there, it goes off like a bomb, but it's going to help to heal the earache. You couldn't sell that to me if you tried. If you want to heal the earache, then just take the child, put the child on its side, put infinite iodine in a little pool of it, and let it soak there and put a hot pack, okay? All right, and then when the child goes to bed at night, you could squirt a little bit of silver bullet gel in there and let them lay on their side with a hot pack, and then come in and just remove that hot pack. The silver bullet gel would melt and it would go into the ear and the child wouldn't have that earache. And remember something, there's no infection and infection creates inflammation. And the worse the inflammation is, the sooner you repeat something. You understand? If I have bad inflammation in my child, they said, oh my God, the earaches all the time. Well, check the dairy you're giving your child, because most of the time when they have to put tubes in the ears, the child is doing dairy and cheese and yogurt. Thank you very much. Okay? And then what? You don't think the tubes are going to cause any irritation, to cause inflammation, to cause scar tissue formation in there? Seriously? Seriously? Okay. So the reality is that get the guide. Get the guide. All right? I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern. Okay? And I will do another doc talk. Tomorrow I'll do a one a day as well at around 12 o'clock Eastern. I'll do my one a day. And then 1 o'clock Eastern, I'll do a doc talk for an hour. And then I have a show, okay, with Lorraine, who's one of my master practitioners. And we'll be talking about her practice and what's going on in her practice. Okay? All right. Can you switch this for me, please? So I can do the slides? Okay, thank you. So anyways, this is where I am, everybody, Extapa Zihuatanejo, and we run a 5-star world healing and training retreat here. If you want to bring the thunder down, you want to learn how to love and care for yourself, you want to be the healer, you want to be the hero, somebody better be in your family, right? If you want to, the best thing to do is to not tell your family what to do and everybody what to do, but to become it, right? Become the billboard of health. And these are all the things that we teach. We do individual one-on-ones, we do group treatments, we do couples, and we do organizations when they come down. So we have the couples treatment and training, personalized Wolf non-surgical certification for those people, athletic Wolf non-surgical, pain-free pelvic restoration, and for men and women, we have pain-free pelvic restoration and Wolf non-surgical. We teach you how to do all of it. And then we have the pain-free pregnancy. And these are all different lengths of times. If you go to DOD5star.com, you'll be able to see all our treatment and trainings down here. Or maybe, next slide, please. You just want to come down for a personal healing and relaxation getaway. Or you want to come down for an advanced water fast health and healing retreat. Or you want to come down for an organic juice fast health and healing retreat. And this is what you're going to say. What a healing. What a holiday. And I mean it. Take a look at all the things that we provide for you and we offer you. You've never had a holiday healing like this. I've been doing this for 40 years, and I know how just to turn things around for you quickly on an emotional, mental, and physical level. And if you can't come to us, Dr. Sage Wolf will come and train you, certify you in Wolf non-surgical, or he'll do a personal treatment and training for just a couple if they want to learn how to work on each other and love each other, care for each other, okay, how to have the perfect day. Or if you want to just learn yourself, or if you have a caretaker that looks after you, he will travel all over the world, or if you have a group or an organization. The next place we're going to be doing the Whole Life Coach certification and the Wolf non-surgical certification and the pelvic restoration course is in Stuart, Florida, June 5th. And I'm doing 2 lectures. One lecture is Reverse the Irreversible there, and then another one called A Day with the Doc. And I'll be doing the same thing in Coffs Harbour in August the 7th, and we'll be traveling around. Also, we're going to be going to Byron Bay. We're also going to be in Melbourne. We're also going to be in Sydney, and we're going to be lecturing, and I'm going to be over there for about approximately 5 weeks. And my course is 9 days, Whole Life Coach certification. We're filling up fast, believe it or not. And then Dr. Sage Wolf, his Wolf non-surgical is 12 days, And then the woman's pelvic restoration course is 3 days. We're also going to be in Greece in September. It's not totally confirmed. We're almost there. And then we're going to be in Ixtapa, Mexico. And next year, this will be the first one in October. And we'll be doing 2 more in Ixtapa, Mexico. We'll be doing 3 a year here. Okay? All right? And like I said, we have personal treatment and trainings at our beautiful retreat here. If you want to come and have the adventure of a lifetime that will last a lifetime, and it will, okay? Give me a call, all right? But here, if you want to go to Stuart, Florida, to any of our courses, contact Debbie or Dina. Coffs Harbour, contact Tora Klein. Rhodes, Greece. Perry, Ixtapa, Mexico. That would be myself, okay? So you can call me. I'm extension 5. Don't call extension 0 or 1. Call 5. I'd love to talk to you. Or if you want to call me direct, USA direct, it won't cost you to call Mexico, 469-861-8884. Or you can call me FaceTime, all right? Or on WhatsApp, okay? And here's the cost of all our courses, all right? As far as for the personal treatment and training, you can go to the Personal Treatment and Training Retreat here. You can go to DOD5star.com. And if you want Dr. Sage Wolf to go to you, then go to personaltreatmentandtraining.com. But if you call me, let's have a chat. This morning we booked another beautiful lady, okay? And her name is Jill. I booked her and her husband. They're coming for 12 days. They're coming to learn the Wolf Non-Surgical, okay, all right, which will take about 5 to 7 days, but they've got some real good time off there. They're coming for treatments on the cardio bed, the Cellsonic. We have electric bikes that they'll be traveling just 5 minutes to the beautiful beach, downtown restaurants, shopping, most beautiful place in the world, Ixtapa, Mexico. And they can you can take a trail all the way from Ixtapa to actually Zihuatanejo, which is about a 15-minute bike ride. And it's bike trails, the most beautiful trails you've ever went down. Or you can go the other direction and go out to a whole bunch of different beaches, or you can go to the Crocodile Sanctuary, or you can go and catch a ferry and go to Ixtapa Island. Okay? All right, there's so much to do. And then I'll be showing you more pictures and more videos. I mean, if you were to actually rent a house like we have for our retreat, you'd pay $1,200 to $1,500 a night. Don't believe me? Go on Airbnb. Okay? And what do we charge? Oh, to stay there? How about this? How about 1/4? 1/4. 1/4, that's what we charge. 1/4 the price. Because our mission is to make sure that we have the most quality training and the most beautiful adventure that will change your life for the rest of your life. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful day, Bravehearts.